Hey, good evening ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sasha and I'm proud to announce that the first version of the map I'm making has been released. It's called Skyffectuate, link is in the description. But before you go there and download it, I gotta tell you about some stuff, because obviously you don't know how to craft some stuff, you don't know how to start out. I won't really tell you how to start out, but one of the first problems you will encounter is that you don't have a lot of dirt on this island. You start out with like 3 dirt, and considering most of the stuff you build in the beginning is made out of wood, because you don't have a cobble generator yet, you need more dirt. Otherwise you're just waiting for trees to grow. So how do you get more dirt? Minecraft crafting recipe for coarse dirt is how you get dirt. You don't throw your gravel away, so you need gravel and dirt. And that makes for coarse dirt, and this is not dirt. Grass doesn't grow on it. You can still plant trees on it, but in case you want it to be grass-like, you can actually till it with a hoe. It's not very well known, but you can do that. So and that's how you get grass and dirt. How do you get gravel to make that dirt? You push blocks into creepers. More specifically, cobblestone blocks. So when a creeper is completely encased in cobblestone in this game or map, he explodes and breaks down the cobble into gravel. Note here that while you can extend the pistons at the same time, you don't have to. So you can do this with one piston even. You can also do it without any pistons with a minecart, but that's ridiculously complicated and not really feasible in the beginning because you also don't have any iron. But you got one piston. You can do it with one piston. You can also craft another piston by getting more iron, but one piston is fine enough. So how do you get a cobble for that? You need a cobblestone generator. How do you get that? First of all, you need lava and water. And water you get from cauldron. Cauldrons in rain fill up in Minecraft. So imagine this is rain. Put the cauldron there. Hey, it filled up. And in vanilla Minecraft, you cannot take this water out. In Skyffectuate, you can actually throw a bucket into there, and he picks up the water. It picks up the water. And to make it a little bit less frustrating, because these cauldrons take a long time to fill up, in Skyffectuate, cauldrons have another use. They are an infinite water source. So when you throw a bucket in there, it never fully empties the cauldron. So you can have a water canning machine like so, for example, if you want to. How is this useful? I don't know. Maybe you need water craft stuff later on. So how do you get lava? Good question. You need a special crafting structure which is called a hearth. So you put a slab above fire and throw one bucket and 32 netherrack on there. And you will see particles flying out with a fire fizzling sound. Let's wait for it one more time. It doesn't happen. It's randomized, by the way. But yeah, you saw a particle flying out. Usually they fly way higher, but whatever. Yeah, there, we got one big. So how do you make a hearth? Essentially, you can make it however you want. I decided to not check for any blocks really, because I want to give people the biggest amount of creative freedom. So this works, this also works. This whole process takes about 50 seconds, by the way. And essentially a hearth is nothing more than the fire. You don't even need the slab, but you need to somehow keep items in the block above the fire. And the most convenient way to do that is to use a slab. But this also works flawlessly as a hearth. So you can lay it out however you want. You just need the fire and potentially the slab if you don't find another method to keep the items above that. That's all great and good. So we get our lava bucket. How did we get the netherrack? Good question. We didn't get it from the nether because the nether bar isn't enabled in this map. Well, technically it's enabled, but you can't go to the nether. This happens when you try to go to the nether. The reason for that is mainly because I cannot affect nether generation. And that's annoying. And I don't want to upload a map where you have to, or where the nether has been cropped out and then people go out 2000 blocks and find nether anyways. It doesn't really work. So instead you get nether from zombie pigmen. When they die, they drop one netherrack and they spawn on netherrack in the overworld. Nothing else spawns on netherrack. So we get some zombies there, don't we? Yeah, we get zombie pigmen there. The rate for these spawning is relatively low. It's about 25% of all other mobs. That's great, but how do you get your first piece of netherrack to start a zombie pigman farm? That's a good question. There's 2 methods for this. Because there's methods to get zombie pigmen without going to the nether. One of them is getting a pig hit by lightning. That's vanilla Minecraft, but that's not very reliable. So there's another method in this map where if you feed a pig a full stack of rotten flesh, he might turn into a zombie pigman. The amount of rotten flesh you need, or the amount of stacks you need, is randomized. So that first guy needed 1, this guy needs 3. And by the way, they are aggressive. So now that I took some damage, we can talk a little bit about the hunger system. As you might have noticed, there's no natural regeneration here. So how do you regenerate? When you're at full hunger, you regenerate half a heart, but you lose 1/2 shank of regeneration, not regeneration, hunger, and all your saturation from the food. So you basically end up with 9.5 shanks down there. This means that if you don't want to heal, you shouldn't eat to full hunger, because you basically forfeit all of your saturation. Instead, you should think about what you eat. Basically, if you're at, I don't know, 7.5, you might want to eat like a carrot because it refills 2. If it refills 2, it might only fill 1.5. Or an apple instead of a bread, because that would bring you to full hunger, and then you regenerate, which doesn't do anything when you're at full health or when you don't want to heal. But that way food lasts you longer. This is a temporary system until I come up with a more sophisticated hunger system. But it's a nice, really simple system. So it also makes the game harder, which is something I want. So besides zombie pigmen, other mobs have special drops too. For example, zombies might spawn with pickaxe. If they do, they drop 1 iron ingot guaranteed. It doesn't matter how they die, you can kill them in a mob system. They die from fall damage, they still drop the iron ingot. So once this guy eventually burns up, you will see he dropped an iron ingot, although I never hit him. When you kill him by hand, he might drop the pickaxe. It's about a 50% chance. Doesn't happen. There's a pickaxe. So you can get iron pickaxes relatively early on if you get lucky. They might also spawn with lapis. It's like way rarer than spawning with a pickaxe. And they might also spawn with an enchanting table, which is like a 1 in 2,000 chance. So you really need a mob system for that. Lapis and enchanting tables, they also drop when they die from a mob system. This map has a huge focus on mob systems, so I don't want to like limit what you can do and have you stand in your mob system and punch zombies. That's no fun. Zombies also have a special use. There are more random drops, by the way, but I don't want to spoil the fun for you. Zombies have another special use. If you equip a zombie with full gold gear, like so, he actually acts as a block breaker. When I push this block into his head, he will break it and drop the block. So you can drop blocks. You can mine blocks automatically with that. You can connect that to your cobblestone generator, for example, but you can also use it in some crazy machinery. However, note that this has like a 3-second cooldown. So this time he broke the block, this time he didn't. This one he breaks, and now he dies. And if the cooldown is not fully gone before you push the block into his head, he will just suffocate. He won't ever break the block. He only breaks blocks that you newly push into his head, because zombies are stupid. And you should time your circuits around that. Alright. Then we got a bunch of special crafting recipes, somewhat connected to this automation process of block breakers, because you can make a bunch of stuff in this map. For example, I also need a pick. You can craft blocks automatically that you usually have to craft in your crafting window. At the moment, these blocks are nether bricks, and clay. And the way you do it is pushing with 2 pistons. They have to extend at the same time. And that's pretty much about it. You have to have the right amount in the middle. So for a block, it's 4, like in regular crafting. It doesn't matter how many blocks you have between the pistons and the items. It also doesn't matter what the blocks are. So you can use glass, you can use iron blocks or stone bricks or whatever you want. Because I don't want to limit your creative freedom, and if you think that having iron in front of pistons looks more like machinery, that's good for you. You can also make quartz with 1 flint and 8 bones, like so. However, you cannot make quartz blocks at the moment with 4 quartz. Also, this is called ivory, but it's quartz. And quickly the clay stuff. Smash. So at the moment it's limited to these 3, the block crafting. But eventually there will be more. But the reason there aren't more, for example, the reason there isn't quartz yet is because I might end up doing something else for quartz, something that makes more sense. But we will see in the future. Okay, then you can sift gravel with wooden trapdoors just by dropping it in there, or the falling block. It gives you 1 flint and 1 sand per gravel. You can also make clay by washing sand into dirt with water. So you have to have the dirt block below the sand, and you have to have water where the sand is. And you will hear this sand washing sound and the particle effects. And then you see it's working, and this takes about 20 seconds, I think. So let's do something else while we wait for that. Then another thing you can do is make red sand just by dropping dye onto sand. It makes plop, and you get red sand. And you can make endstone or thing converted. Endstone, cobblestone, and ender pearl. So that's how you get clay. You can obviously automate this. Like have a machine that pushes in new dirt and stuff, and then break the clay with block breakers and take the clay balls and smelt them, make them into clay bricks. Whatever you want, you can build crazy Goldberg-like machinery. Din, din, din. That's the idea of this map, by the way. Automation and mob systems. Okay, seeds are somewhat of a weird one. Because seeds don't despawn after 5 minutes in this map. They despawn after 10 minutes. And when they despawn and they are on wet farmland, they will turn into crops. Or they will plant themselves. So this button increases the age of the seeds, so they will despawn in a sec. When they do, they plant themselves. Except on this, because this is dry farmland. Seeds can also be used to crossbreed them into new flowers. For example, if I leave a seed there, eventually it will grow into flower. Not necessarily because it's chance-based, but probably it will. It's also based on the age of the seed and the type of soil the seed is on. So all the soils you can use are these 5. So you have grass, you have dirt, you have sand, you have coarse dirt, and you have pot soil, and this makes different flowers or saplings. So that's your way to get that's your way to get other saplings besides oak. Note that because of how I coded the system, this isn't very effective. Selectively breeding on one type of soil is way more effective. So this probably leads to most of them despawning. But obviously you get way more varied results if you only have it on sand or something. So this is way more effective than the one before. This is more effective. Darn it. This is more effective than having it on 3 types. And this is like the most effective thing. And then you can just have seeds on grass everywhere. And then seeds on this everywhere. But as I said, less varied results because you only have one type of soil where this stuff can grow on. Also brings us to breeding. Breeding in this map is kind of a weird one. Because you cannot breed animals. This is mainly to encourage passive mob systems. Why can't I feed these guys? Because I need carrots. Do I have carrots here? Yes, I do. Okay, so this also doesn't work. They don't make a child. You cannot breed animals on this map. Because I think it's way too powerful and makes the game way too easy. So I just disabled breeding as a whole until I come up with a breeding system that isn't jumping into a pen with 200 cows holding right click with wheat in your hand. It's like dumb that you get 4 million steaks from that. Okay. Some animals, actually only cows. Cows have a specific use. When you breed them, they will turn the dirt they are standing on into pot soil. So, yeah. Kind of makes sense to me. It's gross, though. But eventually this all will change once I make a better breeding system. Okay, eggs also don't spawn baby chickens. Actually, they can, but the baby chickens die instantly. And this over here is a collection of blocks and items that you currently cannot get in this map. Currently, because eventually they will all be added except for diamonds and diamond blocks and armor made from diamonds. So everything made from diamonds that isn't a tool, really. But all the other ones are going to be added eventually. Maybe horse armor, not. I'm not sure yet. Maybe. Doesn't hurt anyone. Could be a random mob drop or something. So obviously there will be updates and this map isn't finished. Should that mean you shouldn't try out this map? No. You should try out this map because the great thing about this map is that it's updatable. Like, if you update your map, you don't lose any of your stuff. You keep your whole world, you keep all your stuff. It's really easy to update. You just drop stuff into your save game folder, and that's your update. You don't need to use MC Edit or anything. You don't need to do a /game rule update true or something. You don't need OP on your server. It doesn't matter. You just need to drop the update into your save game folder. It's built that way, and it's easy, and it's nice. So have fun trying it out, and the reason why I released it in this state, although I obviously think it isn't finished and want to do updates, is because I want to take player feedback into consideration. So if you have any, leave a comment on any Skyffectuate related video on my channel or post on the minecraftforum.net thread, which is also linked in the description, like the map download. Or contact me through some other means, Twitter or something, doesn't matter. I will obviously read your comment and then reply. So if you have any suggestions, issues, if you think it's too hard, if you think it's too easy, if you think you should get more items at the start, whatever. Just feedback would be nice. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good one, take care.